This episode of WoW Weekly is brought to you by WoWweekly.net, your source for Warcraft and Blizzard news, guides, and editorials.
This week in Warcraft, much information has come out in the past week, including racials, abilities, and raid currencies. I'm Mezzy, and welcome to WoW Weekly. This is episode number 24, and this week I am joined by LJ. How are you, LJ?
I'm doing quite well, and yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. Recovered from the party from last week.
Yeah, you and parties, huh?
Oh yeah, all the time. Because that's just the type of person I am.
That's just the way you roll, huh?
Exactly. And also joining us this week, a new person. Oh my god, scary. Warren is joining us this week. Matt couldn't make it, so thanks for coming, Warren.
Yeah, it's a pleasure being here, thanks.
How about you tell a bit about yourself?
Oh god, not much to know. As you can tell, as says, my name's Warren. I play a healing druid, so it's more or less the best thing we could talk about with coming up with the healing we're talking about today. Of what the changes for what and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, let's get right into it.
Let's get right into it.
Exactly. So, two developer water cooler blog posts came out in the past 2 weeks. And we'll start with the healing one first. So, heals are going to be increased less in power than monster damage. As the expansion goes on, the health and the healing should increase at the same rate. So you basically don't get the same situation that we're in now. Where basically it's about getting people to full health as soon as possible, otherwise the next hit is going to kill them. There's going to be a bit more leniency, basically, in player health. And that means it could be fine for a player to stay at 80% health, for example. So, you're both healers, I'm not. What's your initial reactions? Let's have LJ start.
Well, for this, I'm quite happy, to be honest. Though on the general rule, the thing is, I'm a paladin healer, so I am a not in contrary to Warren, who is a druid healer. I am more the how do you say it? More active, more the aggressive healer, put it like that.
Thanks.
Yeah. Hey, if you're gonna start like this already. No, I mean I'm more the. You haul him up and when the damage is coming, but I need to heal him when the damage is already done, and I have to patch him up, like triage, I believe they call it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's the main difference between us two, and that's also the difference with this coming, this healing difference, because I'm not saying that it's correct how it's going now, but for a paladin healer, it's much more fun to have. Well, much more fun. Yeah, it is much more fun to have the healing as it is now because, well, you have a lot more stuff to do. You have a lot of damage to heal up. You have to do it quickly, and so it gives a far bigger challenge. So from my point of view, it is. I get that it's better for the raid as a general rule of thumb, but for me personally, as a paladin healer, I can see that it can be a bit more boring for me later when healing.
One healing.
Yeah, well, also with raid healing. I mean, now we have the tanks, of course, having spiky damage sometimes, but not. It's not that I don't that I like tanks dying, but it's more. I like to thrive under the pressure that somebody's about to die, and then you need to heal them up.
The instant safe heal and things like
that. Yeah,
that.
exactly. Like really feel like that savior at that moment and get that tank back up before it's too late.
You want to be the hero.
Yeah, as well, but it's more like I like that's what I've been doing the past 8-9 years, and I really like doing it because it's just for the paladin healer, I think.
It's not that you just like the nice green numbers, is it?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't like it.
No, I have no idea what you're talking about. No, never.
I don't know. What's your point of view then, Warren? Huh?
Well, as a rule of thumb, the changes, yeah, some things are needed with a lot of the heals because they can seem a bit overpowered, like a few paladin heals, maybe. But yeah, I think it's more or less the changes to kind of bring everyone onto the same level because I think a lot of my abilities are kind of, as said, a little nichey for the AoE heals with Effervescence and then this Mushroom Bloom. But I think with a few of the changes that the point one, what is it, 1.5 second changes with a lot of spells now
Yeah.
for everyone
Yeah, we'll
across the
get to
board.
that in a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. But as a rule of thumb, I do like the little hots that I throw across all the raid, and then it's not the fact that I hate change, but yeah, I don't want it to go too over the top. If you know what I mean, with
Yeah, I do.
the yeah.
With the
Um,
not needing to heal up to full.
well, with not needing to heal up to full, I don't think that's really too much of a problem because I've got cooldowns that I can throw on the tank or anyone to stop them from taking excessive damage because of Iron Buck that I can just throw just like, oh yeah, that's fine. But with staying at 80% health, it's not really a problem because as we're walking through the transition, you can always top them up back to full anyway from walking from mob to mob. So I don't think that's much of an issue. Um,
I would say it takes the pressure away a bit.
Yeah, it does take the pressure away because of then saying, oh yeah, well they've got to be all topped off, and then it just drains your mana, and then you're just waiting 5 seconds for your mana to just start creeping all the way back up. Um, so so yeah, staying at 80% health is actually quite beneficial for a hot healer with spending mana every few seconds just to get everyone more or less topped up. Um, what do you think about with topping everyone up, LJ, being the healer
Yeah,
for?
I mean, I get that. It's also, I mean, but like what we're going to discuss as well for the other healing changes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think all in all, this is just one subject, of course. I mean, we have more coming, and it's just everything that's done with the healing change. It feels like, um, personally, for a paladin, that it's going to be a difficult things to adjust to, and also difficult rating in the future if it's going to be like that, because they are
Yeah.
changing a lot at once for the healing, and I get where they're going with it, and I get why they want to do it. It's
Mhm.
just it's difficult for a paladin healer because it like I said, I really need to do those. I'm more for the oh shit he's gonna die heals instead of the oh everything's fine, make sure that everybody stays fine heals.
Yeah.
To put it simplify it.
So rather than the utilizing heals of a druid, you prefer the oh shit, you're gonna die.
Yeah, I get that for a raid you need a bit of both, but
Yeah.
I mean now it feels like they're going to change it all to more the your side of the healing than my spectrum of the healing. Put it like that. But
Right.
yeah,
Well,
Okay.
let's move on. Because smart heals are going to be changed, and they're no longer going to target the person with the lowest health, but instead they're going to choose a person at random who's not at full health. Now, initially I thought we wouldn't need much time for this. I added any comments, and LJ wrote in big letters, in big red letters, yes, comments. So, LJ, what kind of comments do you have about smart heals being changed in that way?
I think that is it. They should be renamed from smart heals to stupid fucking heals. I'm part of my French, but yeah, I
Okay.
think smart heals have been invented and put into the game because they did provide a certain certain, like you said earlier,
Uniqueness.
exactly uniqueness or certain niche heals to the game, and I really liked it because well with like for instance my Holy Radiance, but also the Holy Light.
Yep.
Those are two heals that are for me that are smart heals because they can target a lot and they go for the ones that are down on health first, and I think it is a really dumb tactic to make those heals stupid because eventually they will only be used in the utmost case that they need to be used, and those are already few because um, I can do AOE heals, but
Hmm.
if you're gonna nerf those AOE heals to heal people who are already healed, I mean paladins are already notorious for their overhealing. Why make it worse? To be honest, it's a bit insane for me,
Well,
from my
it won't be
perspective.
for overhealing. They'll just target someone who needs healing.
Yeah, it's more or less targeted for someone who's at less than top health, so it'd just be
Yeah, but
randomly just targeting them.
it still goes against the principle of somebody that's on 5% health or somebody's on 99% health. I mean, why should heal target that 99% health
rather than the
person,
5% one. Yeah.
preferably before the 5% health person?
Well, what I can see them thinking is that maybe they want the what are currently smart heals to fill in more of a role of just a bonus than active healing.
Yeah, but all my AOE heals are those bonus heals.
But the question is that still going to be in Warlords of Draenor? Um,
Yeah,
I
that
know
is the
they're
question,
changing
of
some
course.
of the mechanics. For example, I'm not sure if we get to that actually. Absorptions are going to be changed. They won't be as good, so they'll adjust those absorption mechanics as well. I could see them do the same for smart heals.
Yeah, but that's hitting me as well. I mean, okay, with all this item squish and basically every healer being nerfed and or nerfed being changed, it's like my mastery is absorption, my smart heals are being made dumb, the my healing way is getting nerfed. So as a paladin healer, this is a really unattractive patch,
I'm
a
sure you'll
change.
be compensated just like discipline priests. How do you think they feel with
Yeah,
reading
exactly, because this
absorption is going to
Yeah.
be I don't know how much, but
they'll be pretty much nullified into the ground purely because of that. I mean, every priest will have to go holy. Well, I know that a lot of priests don't like holy
yeah,
because it's a whole different play style. It's more like a paladin play style.
exactly. So that's going to be changed. I can imagine that holy paladins will be as well then.
I hope so, but I mean, the past has let us know that Blizzard not always keeps their promises and sometimes has
Yeah, they
problems
can always
with
Where's my
change. Yeah.
dance studio?
yeah, exactly, the dance studio. No, I mean it's of course we'll have to wait and see what really happens, but I'm just really yeah, what's the word?
Annoyed?
Annoyed as well. Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
I don't know what to expect. They said a lot, and of course it's for a big expansion, and you know Blizzard they'll change a lot before it really hits, but it's still I'm not happy with as it is
These
so
are beta notes. Anything it
exactly.
can change.
Anything can
Exactly.
change. So yeah.
Of course, I know that, and that's why I'm saying it exactly. But it's more like, yeah, how it is now, how what they're saying now, I'm not happy with it. But if it changes in the future, we'll see what happens. Of course, I mean, everything can change.
That's
All
true.
right, and Warren, what are your thoughts on smart heals? I know wild growth is, I believe, considered a smart heal.
It is considered a smart heal because it heals about 5 people in this area instantly, and then over 6 seconds. But with it giving a 1.5 second cast time as well, is then could those people been saved earlier with using a different heal? Because while growth is then going to be able to stand still 1.5 seconds, then heal, and then the hot as well. It's kind of like I'll have to try and utilize it in a different way so that I can use it around my other abilities because my healing touch, rejuve, and my effervescence are going to be my main ones that I'm going to be focusing on because my regrowth is getting changed into the higher output, and so is the wild growth. So it's trying to find the best way of working around it. It's not saying that it's a bad move because I don't really use wild growth as a pull through as every single thing. Um, but it's not a killer for me because I can do without wild growth or even change it from my bars. It's not a big deal, but it's with other abilities that I'd be wanting to use as well that I'd be focusing. If they try and implement more abilities into the higher output end where you'd have to stand still to use it because if it was using me with wild growth or my life bloom, then I'd be just like, oh crap, because what would I do? Because all of my hots, more or less, just like all of my spells are my hots, um, and it'd be like, oh shit, I'm not going to save anyone, and everyone's going to say that druids are crap healers, like they did at the very start of the expansion for Mop, because they said that druids were crap, and then halfway through, oh, druids are actually quite good, okay. Um, but yeah, it more or less changes from time to time. But I think my wild growth changing that dramatically wouldn't really bother me that much. I mean, it affects some of my healing, but not a lot of it. Um, it would be more in terms of other classes that tend to focus on a lot of shields, like the priest. Oh, they're gonna be so upset.
Of course, I mean
Well,
it's
yeah.
logical that they'll be upset with that.
And
We're
it would
getting,
be
the
it,
main thing is getting, yeah.
yeah,
But as
and
we
it's with
continue into the next part of the subject as well, keep in mind that everything is going to be different. The way you're going to use your spells.
yeah,
And that's going to be for Discipline Priests, that's going to be for Holy Paladins, that's going to be for Mistweaver Monks, etc. Um, I believe that, well, I suspect that Restoration Shamans, for example, won't be using Healing Stream Totem as much. That's going
no,
to be different
yeah,
as well.
because they focus a lot on their smart healing.
Exactly.
So
So, yeah, let's get right into the next part then, because mana of many spells is going to be adjusted to give players a choice between spells with lower output and lower cost versus spells with higher output and higher cost. Now, I thought they already had attempted to do this in Mists of Pandaria to make you think more about the choice of which spell you're going to use. But for the seeing as you two are Druid and Paladin, let's take those examples. So for the Druid, the higher efficiency, so basically lower mana, higher efficiency spells would be Healing Touch, Rejuvenation, and Efflorescence. Now, from the tweets, we know that Efflorescence will be tied directly to the mushrooms.
the mushroom, yeah,
And the higher output spells would be Regrowth and Wild Growth. So one single targeted and one AoE. For the Paladins, the higher efficiency spells will be Holy Light, Holy Shock, Word of Glory, and Light of Dawn. Now, I don't know which ones those all are. I believe Paladin is the only class I haven't healed on myself. And then the higher output ones will be Flash of Light and Holy Radiance.
hmm
Yeah, as far as I know, I also read something that Holy Light, that they're assimilating Holy Light and Divine Light, I think it's called, together again. I mean, first there was only Holy Light, then they made two spells again, and now they're making it one spell again, as far as I could read.
Okay.
And basically, Holy Light used to be the lower one, but now it's going to be then the more efficient one, like Divine Light. Holy Shock is the instant that builds up. What's it called again? The resource. God,
your holy power.
power. That's it. Yeah. Which then powers Word of Glory or
Eternal
Radiant Dawn,
flame, yeah.
Eternal Flame. That which makes it hot.
Yeah.
But I believe they're removing that one, or something was happening with that as well. Light of Dawn is the AoE smart heal that also uses Holy Power.
Yeah.
Flash of Light is the quick cost, very high cost heal, and Holy Radiance is the high cost AoE heal.
hmm
So,
All right.
yeah.
So, what are your
Let's have-
general thoughts to again their attempt to changing the mana on the spells to make you choose between higher mana cost and higher output, and lower mana cost and lower output? Because didn't they attempt this in Mists of Pandaria?
I think they've attempted that almost every expansion.
Yeah, I know they did from Mist because they changed the higher output to Healing Touch before, because Healing Touch was a high-powered heal that you'd more or less turn away from, that you'd never use. Well, it's what I never used. Because I more or less didn't see the point, because I'd gone and glyphed Regrowth to do a crit heal, which would put a absorb heal on, so when they take damage. So I just thought there was no point. But it was when they went and put the gear items on, where it was Healing Touch was a preferably needed one, that I'd start integrating it into my rotation again, because it was more or less needed, and it was a heal that would be utilized at the right time. But I think they did try it in the past few expansions that they've done, to try and make us work around our different mana uses, because I've always used Rejuvenation, I've always used Life Bloom, I've used Regrowth as much as I possibly could, but there's now like the higher output work WoW ground that regrowth is now going to be used as like the save heal as well as the wild growth for the area heal. Um, with regards to the healing touch being like the smaller base heal now, it's more or less just retuning it back to an earlier expansion where I was more or less utilizing it every single time during Burning Crusade, I think I was, um, because it was the best heal to actually use alongside the rejuvenation and my other hot heals, because everyone was taking so much damage back then. I remember, I think it was healing a warrior tank, that it'd be like, use your save heals all the fucking time. But then it was the usage of it, because I was using it all the time. I'd be within seconds because, like, Jesus Christ, damn. And
Yeah.
then I'd be utilizing my innovate again, and then, oh yeah, he's fine. He's not taking so much damage. I can turn elsewhere. And then it'd just go mash, 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 and I'd be like, oh, Jesus Christ, heal you back. Oh,
Yeah.
but oh god, they were so squishy. But it's with them with the squish coming again. It's like, will it go back to being squishy tank, or with them
Oh
staying at
yeah.
80? Yeah,
That's something
jeez.
we really have to see, watch to see, and know how it happens. That, to be honest, that's really critical for us as healers as well.
Hmm.
It's like you say. It's like they've been doing this every expansion. Like they, especially you should know, like Mezzy with your hunter. I mean, every expansion, they fuck the hunter over
Give
big
me
time.
mana back.
I mean, you had to have yeah, you had to have expertise, and they're removing that the whole thing now, aren't they? They're
Yep.
removing
Expertise and hit.
um,
Sayonara,
expertise.
hidden expertise.
I mean, finally, everybody's wanted that, but I mean, I mean, why did they even introduce expertise? It was just another annoying stat you
To
had to.
balance it out with other casters.
I get
Mhm.
that, but I mean, they also changed their whole class about 3 or 4 times during the whole game. I think hunters, if not more. But it's been the same with healers. I mean, the amount. To give an example, like my top. I started raiding with Burning Crusade,
Yeah,
and
same.
yeah, we started together, Warren and I. So we go
Yeah.
way back. But
You've survived with him all this time?
He wasn't so
yes, I
bad,
have.
really.
Or was
How
that
have you
two?
not
How is
gone
that my
completely
fault?
insane?
Well, you tend to just start tuning him out from time to time.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks, Warren. Last time I invite you to this.
Oh,
But as I was saying, I went to from about 2 or 3 heals I had back then, I think,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
to now I have 7 or 8, plus a lot of utilities and multiple cooldowns and such. I mean, they've of course it's more interesting, it's much more varied and such, but they've been doing it at every expansion, trying to fine tune it and make it different. And of course that makes it more interesting at the start of the expansion. But the thing is, will it last through the whole expansion? Because sometimes if it doesn't work, they'll change it again. I mean, I understand that, but it doesn't make it easier for the healers as a whole. And yeah, it feels like I also read that they want to go back to pre-Cataclysm or at the start of Cataclysm or something like that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in the next dev cooler.
Okay. But that's they want to go back, and that's what that definitely feels like. That we're taking a step back with the healing and going from there. See how it will go from there. And I'm not disagreeing with that. It's just yeah, the way it's going now, it's a bit iffy. I mean, I understand what they're doing with my heals. Not that much has changed in total. I mean, with the higher efficiency, Holy Light, which Divine Light was also always the more well, it was more expensive but also bigger heal, so it was a very efficient one. Holy Shark has always been good, very efficient. Word of Glory and Light of Dawn have always used the holy power, so 1 to 3 being the best.
Yeah.
So that's and the same with Flash of Light. I mean, and Holy Radiance. They've always been high cost, but they do a lot of heals when you need it. So they're not changing that much in that perspective with me with the Paladin. But it's still like they're removing a heal again and or fusing 2 heals again, and it's yeah. Just wait and see what happened. To be honest, what will happen with it.
Well, that's the thing, you never know
Yeah, exactly.
until it comes around. So yeah, it's more or less the same for every single healer that's going to be. They're just tapping their fingers at me and saying, "Oh, how else am I going to be nerfed?"
Yeah.
Well, that's how it feels at the moment. But it's more or less going to be a wait and see moment because we never know at the end of it. We could end up saying, "Oh yeah, this is actually quite a good thing they've gone and done. It's going to give them the challenge back," or
It's
Yeah,
something
exactly.
people are going to need to experience because
yeah,
just like the stats squish, some people are going to say it's a nerf, but really it isn't. It's just changing of the
I,
mechanics of the gameplay.
I've been trying to explain it to people as well. I mean, everybody's crying nerf, but it's not a
Ugh,
nerf. Everything is changing. I mean, even the bosses, everything is
yeah,
changing. It's not a
yeah,
nerf. Because where there was,
everything's been
where there
brought
used to
down.
be a
Yeah.
100, now there's going to be a 1. If you're going to explain it, like, if you want to explain it very, very simple.
hmm
But I mean, I get that people are well scared, afraid of what will happen and if it'll go good. But I have full confidence in Blizzard that they can really pull this off because it's needed not only for the game engine itself, but for the game itself as well.
yeah. And to those people, stop using your emotions. Start using your head. Think about it. Think about it
Yeah.
logically. Nothing changes relatively.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
it was with us getting each expansion, we were getting more and more health, and then it was looking back at all of the old bosses, just like, oh, well, I have more health than this boss back here. How was
Yeah.
this
I mean,
Yeah,
tanks
even?
have over a
Yeah,
million health. I mean, some bosses don't have that even. I mean, come on. Is it really that normal? Of course, everybody likes high numbers. Healers, DPSers, even tanks like high
yeah,
numbers. I mean, that's just a natural human given fact. I mean, but it's just insane the amount of numbers you see nowadays compared to like only 1 or 2 expansions back.
oh
yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah.
If you look at the charts in the next dev cooler, you're going to see how crazy the inflation was.
Hmm.
I think I remember it was
Yeah.
just like it's just shot up like they were just heading up the slope of a roller coaster, just like yeah, and then vroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, it was just a steady curve, and then up it shot, and I was just like, what the
Yeah.
hell?
Yeah.
Looking at the player power by level, from 80 to 85, so into Cataclysm,
Yep.
it went up by double the speed, or maybe even triple compared to Wrath.
Yep.
And then from 85 to 90, at least quadrupled. And if it had gone on in Warlords of Draenor, it would have been off the charts.
Yeah.
It's but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's finish up the healer uh, podcast. Healer
Human beings.
Yeah. Sorry
yeah
for getting off topic.
blog post first.
We always get off topic, so
Yeah, this is how it goes.
yeah.
So oh yeah, two more things. Firstly, multi-target heals will only be mana efficient if they heal more than 2 injured players. How does that sound to you?
Well, from a druid's perspective, I think that's okay. Well, we do a lot of AoE healing to start with anyway with efflorescence, and throwing rejuves all over the place. So I don't think it more or less hurts me, but I think it more or less makes it better. So I'd be aiming more towards that as a secondary, um, what is it?
Secondary heal.
Yeah, secondary heal because with them putting in the new secondary class or spec things as well with multi strike. So with a lot of my heals being AOE, there's a chance that the heals spread. So I think it utilizes a lot of area healing more than the single target healing because I know that paladins tend to focus a lot on the single heals to keep everyone topped or keep everyone at full
Yeah.
when they die. So I think it's more or less utilizing the area healing of a shaman or a druid, or perhaps even a monk with their mist healing from spread to spread to spread. Um,
Yeah. And LJ, how does that sound as a paladin?
It sounds perfect. I mean, that's what I use my multi heals for. I mean, I only have a couple, and I only use them in the most dire needs because they're not efficient use of the resource, be it mana or holy power. I mean,
Yeah.
it's basically just already using your head and see if it works out. I mean, it's more than logical that people should only use the multi heals on when they're
Groups.
needed.
Yeah.
On groups on multiple people that are down health. I mean, I always assumed that was what people were doing, but yeah, apparently not. But no,
Mhm.
for Paladin, it's more than normal, and I think it's
Yeah.
good that they really implement it in a way that everybody has
So
to
it's more or
abide
less
by it.
utilising it for everyone instead of
Yeah,
just saying, "Oh, you should use this now," instead of saying, "Oh, well, we don't really do that. I just single heal." So it's more or less
yeah,
you really should be using this now.
yeah, exactly. It
All
makes it
right.
more, how do you mean viable? How more? Yeah, it coerces you more into
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah. All right. Glad finally something positive for both of you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, we're
It's
very
not all doom
positive
and
guys.
gloom.
Oh yeah,
We're,
definitely,
we're
LJ.
normally very positive guys. It's just
Uh huh.
Blizzard being a bit of an asshole.
Uh huh. Of course. Moving on. The last thing, really. Let's see. Oh yeah, we talked about it a bit. A lot of the instant cast heals are being made into casting spells.
Hmm.
So that's both for the thought requirements, I believe, as a movement, as for benefits in PvP, so that more heals can be interrupted in PvP. So let's start off with the Druid one, just Wild Growth in this case. It will have a 1.5 second cast time, which is basically just the global cooldown. And then for Paladins, Eternal Flame and Word of Glory will each have a 1.5 second cast time. Respect Holy. And Light of Dawn also a 1.5 second cast time. Which again basically just the global cooldown, which means it changes is that the output stays the same, but you're not allowed to move while casting it.
Hmm.
And LJ is staring, perhaps a bit.
Nah, I'm also playing WoW at the moment, so I mean, I have to research the material you're discussing, huh?
Oh yeah, of course, because that's
Of course, getting some field data. Yeah, of
yeah,
course.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
definitely.
Very, very well said. Yeah, exactly.
So before we get to LJ's rant, Warren, what do you think about it?
Thanks, dude.
Well, the
Welcome.
wild growth being the 1.5 second cast, I don't really think it affects me too bad, as I have the effervescence for the AoE as well as. So I don't really think it's too bad for druids because that's the only thing that's being changed. Whereas I feel a little sorry for LJ. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't really think this is too much of a bad thing. It'll just change my rotation around a little bit, so it's not really seen as much of a bad thing from my perspective. Um, but yeah, that can be said. It might change. You never know.
Mm-hmm. All right then, LJ, go.
Yeah, I basically hate it. I mean, paladins have already been they have a very notorious reputation that they are the most immobile healers in the game, and this only accentuates it by making two of the heals, namely being. Let me first say that when you go for heal, when you're holy, you have the option of going Word of Glory. That's the normal. That's like the vanilla option. But with talents, you can go for Eternal Flame, and that's more or less mandatory. So it's basically two spells that's changed for Holy. That's Eternal Flame and Light of Dawn. These are two spells that both work on the Holy Power resource,
Mm-hmm.
and they are two of the only things, together with Holy Shock, that I can cast while moving. And now they're putting a 1.5 second cast on it. That's just saying that we should, whatever happens, we aren't allowed to move to heal. We can't. We can only do Holy Shock then, basically, and
Yeah.
that's it. I
Well,
mean that seriously really fucks me over because that's just ridiculous, judging by the amount of healing a druid, a priest, or others can do while moving. It's just a bit,
Hmm.
yeah, retarded. I'm sorry to say the word. I don't like using it, but it is a bit weird to make two of the most crucial moving heals, to make them, yeah, non-movable anymore. So yeah, I'm not
well,
happy.
the thing is, and this is going to be noticed in DPS classes as well. They want players to move less while doing their thing, whether it be healing or DPSing. So isn't that a
Yeah, but
change?
it
Just a general design change for everyone?
if so, that it's good that it happens for everybody. But now it's not less movement for me. It's virtually no movement while healing for me. I mean, you can make things less, of course, I get that. But if you make it, well, if you nerf it like this, it's basically I can't. If there's a move phase, which almost every other boss has nowadays,
Yeah.
I won't be able to heal. You'll be basically a healer, well, maybe half a healer down during that whole phase, which
Well,
will
the
let
only
people
heal that
die.
you would be able to utilize would be the Holy Shark, which is
Exactly,
yeah.
which is a minor heal. It basically is a filler which helps you get holy power.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is just a really big nerf on my side.
What I can see them doing is making a new talent or new passive for Holy Paladins. That, I don't know, you build up some stacks to reduce casting on some spells, and in the end making it, I don't know which spell, but a healing spell instant cast. So that you can build
Yeah.
the stack up when you know movement is incoming, and then you can use it while moving.
That one might make it easier. That could build those stacks up for when the healing phase is going to hit. I mean
Yeah.
that I could see that happening as well. That wouldn't be too bad. But before anything of that gets out there and makes been made public, it's just at the moment it's like, yeah, what the hell do they want me to do now?
Yeah, well, the thing is, Blizzard is giving pieces of the puzzle as they figure it out as well, because it's not even in beta yet, it's in alpha.
Yeah.
At least, as far as I know, surely it's an alpha, even if it's just internal. And, yeah, I think Blizzard actually has said this, that keep in mind that more information is going to be coming, and many things are still going to change, etc. And they're just giving the philosophies and stuff like that already out to the players so that they can start to understand what's going to change.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that it's good that they let people already know what's going to happen and what's going to change. But yeah, that doesn't mean I have to be happy with it.
Alright, well, before we get on to the
What's
next
up?
one, LJ, what would you want changed, or what would you want given to you in this new scenario with all these changes to make it bearable to heal as a Holy Paladin?
Well, I'm not saying it's going to be unbearable. It's just saying it's going to be a lot that's going to be need to be adapted to. Like I said, I've played this game for 8 years. So has Warren. We've both adapted
Yeah.
to a lot of big and minor changes. I mean, it's just the problem that it's. Some classes are going to be impacted harder than others, and at this moment, I feel that the Paladin is going to be impacted a lot more than, for instance, Warren. With this healing druid.
Yeah.
And
but with the
that's
hot
just
use,
what
yeah.
that's just what I dislike. Sorry, what was that, Warren?
No, it's with my hots anyway. I'm a movement class for healing anyway. But it's
Exactly.
with the shamans. They've got the Spirit Walker's Grace, so why can't they implement something for the paladins
Exactly.
for
That
like a
would,
movement spell heal?
or
Yeah.
the stacks that Messi measured. I've seen something like that. Also, like they take a lot, but if they give something bad, I'll be happy with it. I mean, that's not the
Yeah.
problem. It's just we see now here a full list of they're gonna. We want to change. We have a new vision. It's like like they have every 2 years with a new. We have a new vision. It needs to go left, and then over 2 years, no, that was the wrong vision. We're going to go right, and then 2 years later, no. Wrong vision, left again. I mean, okay, we get that, and we know that they want to keep on tampering and keep on making the game different and keep it enjoyable for people. But it's just with this list as I see it now, purely from a paladin healer's eyes, it's a bit, yeah, it feels like a nerf hammer.
Yeah.
Alright.
And rant.
Alright.
And breed.
Yeah.
I'd say let's leave it there and go on to the next dev water cooler, because we're far from done. And we'll await the next set of announcements concerning healing, so that LJ can cheer up.
Wait,
Hopefully.
that was him being cheery? Wow.
So last week, last week when we didn't have the podcast, the first dev water cooler was released, and we got some information about the system changes. So some shiny new graphs were shown about the stat squish that was happening, and the only real news that it gave was that will be about Wrath to Cataclysm level in numbers. Just quickly, because it's only one thing, are there any comments on it? Otherwise, we'll move on. And let me show the graphs on screen as well. So, as you can see, right now, before the squish, this is the line that we'd have in Warlords of Draenor if we did not have the squish. So, in the new squish, after the squish, at level 100 we'll end around here, which is just before level 85 numbers that we had in Cataclysm. So, what do you guys think? Are Cataclysm numbers a reasonable number to start?
Yeah, well, it's more or less just trying to bring us down to a level which is more or less seen as acceptable, because if we were to carry on going the rate that we are, we'd be seeing numbers at, say, a DPS class with over 1 million health, and it'd be like, well, this is just stupid. It's going to mean increasing the system to try and show these numbers up on your screen all the single time. So with them bringing them down to the Wrath Cataclysm baseline level of numbers, I think it's more or less being able to give the system not much of a nerf, but it's just a wind back so that you can actually see the visible changes that's happening. It's not. It's more or less a nerf punch to the face for everyone. It's more or less just a wipe clean to try and make it a fresh look, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So that it's not so in your face. Look at all these high numbers, because that's not what it should be about. It should be about the play style and how you would actually work around a tactic or something like that. It shouldn't be about numbers.
All right. And
No,
LJ?
I totally agree. I mean, okay, Cataclysm. I think that's a good starting point to bring it back to there. And yeah, I think it's better. I mean, we can't go back all the way to Vanilla Burning Crusade. I mean, Cataclysm the start of Cataclysm is a good point to start off and go from there. And like Warren says, I mean, it's a nerf is when one class or something is made less instead in comparison to others, but now literally everything is being reduced. Basically, everything
Yeah,
is
by the same amount.
exactly by the same amount. So nobody's getting nerfed. It can never be nerfed when it happens to the whole freaking world. So I mean, it's and I think it's also a lot better for the system. I mean, they've stated that, of course, you have to realize that the basis of the game is 10 years old. I mean, you can always upgrade it and make it better, but the basis will always stay the same. Basically,
Yeah.
it's like if you want to make a Ferrari on the chassis of an old Fiat or something. I mean, you can make it as big and better as you want, but the chassis will always be the same.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean. Uh, we have to. It's 10-year-old data technology, so somewhere is going to be a breaking point that they won't be able to produce the numbers that we would love to see. I mean, people with 100 million DPS later on, it's just insane compared to what was a couple thousand back in the day in vanilla, or what was it?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that to
But
give a comparison.
I think their viewpoint is to not more or less change the way that people will play it. The bosses will still go down in the same amount of health that someone, say, who's got so much health would knock down something in about, say, 20 seconds, a normal mob. They'll still knock them down in 20 seconds. It's just a change in the health pool and everything like that. There's going to be hardly any change as to the DPS whatsoever. You'll still get, say, the creatures dying, but they won't have so much health.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
that's
It'll
what
happen
they're
in the
trying to do.
same time.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that's just a thought just occurred to me. One of the real issues is now, at least, that's when you go raiding with all these different difficulties. Even if your gear is like half a tier lower than the tier where you want to be, even though you're a good player, your DPS is still going to be much lower, just because of the amount of stats that half a tier extra gives, which kind of negates a player's skill by a lot of how important it is to be able to put out enough DPS for enraged timers, for example. So with this being brought back, and what looks like the increase over the expansion will be lower. Um, does that mean that skill will be able to make a bigger difference again, and so that guilds will be able to recruit someone who's lower geared than them than at the point of progression they're at?
Uh, well, if it goes like that, we don't want it to become like, oh, it's all about item level. They've got to have a certain item level to be in with our raid,
Yeah.
because it did become like that in Wrath of the Lich King. Everyone was saying, no, they've not got the right item level. They might not be able to pop out the numbers that we need.
It's like that
Ooh.
now as well.
Yeah, but that's where I noticed it a hell of a lot. It was in Wrath of the Lich King, where it was just, oh, they've not got the right item level, and became really elitist. Um, if it brings it down to, oh yeah, well, we've got a new person, it should be all about tactics and the way that someone plays, not the gear that they have or what item level they have, because it really shouldn't matter. It should be how they play, and it should be about how well they work with everyone else as to get something down. Numbers on gear really shouldn't matter. It really shouldn't make any difference. It's the person at the end of the day behind the gear.
Yeah, of course, gear can go up to a certain point, but after that point, I mean, that point isn't very high, and after that point, it's all up to the person. And I definitely wish for the game to be more orientated about that instead of fucking item level. I'm sorry for my swearing, but yeah, it's really item level does my head in. By sometimes I don't know how many people. I mean, if you want to show that you're good, of course you're going to grind items and such. But for instance, if you've taken a break and then come back, I mean, you can grind some up to a certain point. But I mean, like people were already asking for groups to Siege of Orgrimmar, I believe, for with an item level that you would have with Siege of Orgrimmar gear when it just came out. I mean, stuff like that. You're gonna have that stupid, insane stuff that nobody will be able to almost reach, or just at the start of a new raiding tier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
So
I
this is a
prefer.
pretty good change.
I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
All right. Let's move on then.
See,
Let's
I can be positive.
Yay! LG can be positive. Many abilities are going to be taken away, and upwards to about 20% of all abilities, actually. Cooldowns are going to be smashed together or being taken away in total. Many raid-wide cooldowns, such as banners and the Stormlash totem, are also going to be gone. Many crowd controls are being removed for PvP purposes. And the rest of the Cs, a lot of them are going to be put in similar diminishing returns, so people won't be chained to seed as long. So again, simple question. Yeah, 20%. A lot, isn't it?
I think so. I think the 20% is a lot, especially if you compare that they removed a lot of like stuff with Mob already, with all the talents
And
and
Cataclysm as well.
Cataclysm. They removed already removed a lot. So I mean, they're even going to reduce that. I get why they want to do it. I mean, it'll make you more dependent on the skills that you have and make it less crowded. But like I said, I had 2 or 3 heals back in Burning Crusade, and now I have upwards of 8, 10 skills I can use and more things to think about. I mean, it's nice to give people options, but there comes a certain breaking point that too much options will not make it more fun, but only make it more difficult and make it more complicated, and not in a good way. I mean, I like complicated. I like to have a fight difficult, not in the way that you have to choose between skill A to C or to D or to E, for instance, and all in this matter of a couple of seconds. Of course, that's a big decision that you have to make in big moments, but it still makes a class a lot less enjoyable to play for some classes, especially.
It also comes into terms with, are they taking away useful abilities that everyone uses from day to day, or are they taking away abilities that no one ever uses, like the priest's mind vision or the eagle eyes of the hunter?
Well, I can answer that because I'm pretty sure this is what's going to happen. Stuff like mind vision, eagle eye, what would have been eyes of the beast, Blizzard. I'm still upset about that. Those kind of fun spells that aren't required to be on your action bars won't be removed. It's about all the spells that are required to be on your action bars for certain points of a fight or in a raid instance, basically. So they want to reduce that amount so that your action bars can be less full and cluttered.
Okay. But
Yeah, I
saying,
think that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
sorry. But with saying that, they were removing up to upwards of 20% of abilities.
Yeah.
I more or less use every single ability within my bars. So with them saying, "Oh yeah, we're just cleaning it up," I'm going to have empty spaces where abilities should be. So you'd be seeing double abilities plopped in between all of my action bars.
Yeah,
So
you'll have to redo like where your fingers have to be and redo in your mind where which skill is where and
Yeah,
which you've
like
just
learning a
gotten
new
used to.
spec.
Yeah, exactly. And I think okay, I get why they want to do it, but I don't think they should do it like 20% is a lot. So it really depends on what they're gonna remove. And I mean, they already removed my auras. Damn it, Blizzard. But yeah, a lot of things have been put together, or like certain skills have been put together and made one bigger, better skill from. I mean, if they do that, that's also fine. But if they really remove like skills that we use, that we find handy, that we use in almost every day life in WoW, I think that's gonna hurt like, a couple of playstyles. A lot of playstyles, especially for people who are used to certain button mashing, especially for DPS. I think.
Yeah, but every expansion it's relearning a part, and you already get to do the relearning before the expansion actually launches when patch 6.0 point oi.
Point
point oi.
When 6.0 comes around, you're going to have time to adjust to it. Heck, we're going to have mythic raiding in Siege of Orgrimmar. I'm not looking forward to that. Oh man, that's going to be a headache.
Oh, we're not.
Oh God.
We won't be even able to do it, Warren. So we don't have that headache.
Yeah, I'm not fussed about
No,
that.
for you
no.
it's just an advantage with the flex mechanic being implemented in the lower difficulties.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you get a chance to relearn what you need to relearn.
Yeah, and that's also the enjoyable of a new expansion, of course. Otherwise, it would be boring to just do the same thing for another 2 years. I mean, they have to change things up, and I
Yeah.
mean that's logical. But it all depends on which way they do it, because I think we can all agree the way they did it with Cataclysm was far below par than the way they did it with, for instance, Wrath or even Mob.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, because
So-
removing Eyes of the Beast is unacceptable, Blizzard. And deleting that code,
Yeah.
I can't forgive you for that.
Well, I'm sure I'll get over it one day.
One day, maybe in 20 years.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think the person who received your email about that is kind of just cowering underneath his desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's move on to the last part of that developer blog. The one that I'm most happy about, other than the stat squish. Ratio abilities, they're being updated, and although the water cooler didn't specify the changes themselves, Blizzard later put up a forum post specifying the changes for each race. Now, there's a lot, so we won't go over everything, but of course you can find the full post up on wowweekly.net. Let's go over a few more of the interesting ones, and the first one I am very, very, very happy about, namely the Dwarf Stone form. It
Yeah,
will
I'm also happy with that.
remove magic and curse effects. Now that seems a bit powerful, doesn't it? Being able
it
to
sounds-
remove just about every single type of debuff from yourself.
Sounds
Every
real
2
OP.
minutes.
It is. If I dare say it, it's overpowered a little bit. It was already very powerful, but this makes it really very useful, to put it like that.
Don't nerf it, Blizzard. Don't nerf
Trying to
it.
talk it
It's
down,
useful.
talk it down. Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, it's very, very encouraging to use in every single dwarven character. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if your class can be dwarf, go for it now. That dwarf stone form really is really nice. I mean, especially for tanks, that's really very good to remove any debuff, but also the 10% damage reduction. As a dwarf myself, I really liked it when I saw that. I mean, it was already a very useful skill, and now it even became more useful.
You know what it feels like to me as a hunter? I get a sort of mini bubble, negating all effects on me for that one instant,
Yeah.
almost all effects. And they're still having the 10% damage reduction for 8 or so seconds.
So OP.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's very OP. I mean, but I really like it.
Yeah, seeing from a druid's point of view, a night elf, should I say?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just like, ugh, why can't I get something best like that? Oh, you with your
Yeah.
bloody stone form.
So other really changes to a lot of races are along the lines of giving 1% haste or other secondary stats, or even healing done. Now, for example, for both dwarves and Tauren, they will get increased 2% crit damage done and healing done. Now, it's worded a bit strangely because let me quote it exactly. The name that increases critical strike bonus damage and healing dealt by 2%. Now, does that mean that the healing is upped by 2% or the crit chance or crit healing by 2%?
I think it might be the crit strike chance of the heal by 2%, by the way it sounds.
Yeah, it's worded a bit strange, I would say.
Yeah, but they'll probably sort that out later. But I think what it is what Warren said at least. Yeah.
All right. Any other racials you guys would like to discuss?
It's with the human spirit. They say they've no longer
yeah.
given the spirit buff of 3%, so every human class will now get to choose 2 secondary stats, which they decide. So whether you're a warrior, you can choose crit or haste, multi-strike or something like that. But I think it's then going to be reduced to a rate of 0.5% rather than of a natural percent. So you'd be getting 2 extra secondary stats at 0.5%, from what I've been reading.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, wouldn't you prefer just 1% of one secondary stat rather than 0.5 of 2?
Well, that's not clear. Can you choose the same one twice?
I'm not sure if you can. I think it's 2 separate secondary stats that you need to choose.
So, for instance, for you, Messi, as a hunter, would be agility or something, and something
No,
like
crit and
stamina
haste.
or crit and haste.
It's
Oh, it's
secondary
secondary
stats.
secondary stats. Yeah. So yeah.
So crit and mastery or crit and haste, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Draenei gets pure agility, strength, or int.
That's dependent on their class, isn't it? Though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got like their own inbound mark of the wild, and then plus if they get buffed as well, they get an extra on top. So it's like, I mean,
5% on top of that.
Yeah, with the night elves, they go and get what is it, haste during the night and crit during the day. I mean, what's the point? I mean, I don't even use crit that much. I focus more or less on my haste.
Stop right there because they're going to be at least attempting to equalize all secondary stats. So no matter what extra secondary stats you get, it will be just as useful as others.
Right. Okay. But yes, during the day and the night, how is that plausible?
It is a weird thing, though.
It's very strange, especially for a class that would say, "Oh, focus on haste," and then, "Oh no, I've got an extra."
Yeah, but it's a race, so I mean, for your class, of course, but for other classes, it could be useful more, of course, because like warriors use a lot of crit. I know, the DPS warrior. So it's really weird that they do something like that. That is good for one class and not good for the other. So I'm thinking that there's going to be something of a change
might be a
on
little
that.
change around on that.
Yeah, if there's one thing that's going to change, it's going to be this one, together with the human one. I can see them running into technical limitations when trying to get the human one done.
Yeah. But it's with every single thing else, I think they've got it more or less to the T.
Yeah.
But it's with them. What is it? Every man for himself. They've reduced that to a 1. Is it 2 minutes now instead of 3?
I'm going to have to check that. I don't know that one, Bart. Nothing is being changed to the human.
Yeah.
It's
because
the troll one that's undead one.
The
undead will
yeah,
the Forsaken is being increased.
Yeah. Because they were just like, how is the human one been reduced while the mark, the Will of the Forsaken been increased? Yeah. So
yeah, the human one is the same because
it's the same now. Yeah.
It uses the cooldown of the trinket as well, so I can see why they did that. The human one basically gives you an extra trinket in PvP.
Right.
Outside of that, it's useless.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
with all of the racial bonuses that they've been given, I think they've more or less got it right on the tee.
Yeah.
Night elves have been given the increased speed and dodge. So with my healing on the move, the increased speed is actually quite beneficial because that means I can get from out of the fire a lot quicker than a dwarf, say, with short little legs.
Well, one thing is for sure: stone form final, not allowed to change. Done.
Yeah,
Keep it that way.
I think they
Yeah.
should. Yeah, make it like put it on a lock or something because that can never
Yeah.
change back.
The only
It's
thing
never allowed to change back.
the only thing I'll allow to change is make it 20% damage reduction. Yeah, I can see that.
Well,
Yeah,
man,
like that'll
get a
happen.
full-on tank cooldown like that. Jeez.
Oh yeah,
No, it's. I mean,
it's
I-
fine the way it is now.
I can foresee a lot of money being made at Blizzard headquarters while people race change just
Character
before the
transfers
yeah race changes. That there's going to be a lot of those, but just before the expansion.
Yeah, I can see that happening too.
A lot more dwarves suddenly. I don't know. Like, yeah.
I don't know why this is, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the dwarves are the superior race after all, so
Of course,
yeah, I can see that.
no doubt about that.
It's a terrific change. Who cares? People have to spend 15 or 25 euros. I don't
Yeah,
have
was it
to.
money well spent?
Exactly. It's an investment.
Yeah.
If only dwarves could be druids. Just imagine a drunk bear walking around.
Just imagine their bear form. Some kind of
A
winter
honey
cub.
badger, more or less.
Yeah.
Just like with a gnome, I mean, that would be just a full-on teddy bear with a druid.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
love to see gnome druids.
Oh, me too. I think a lot of people would love to see that.
Kitten cat forms.
Yep.
Fish swimming
Rapid travel
things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to start a petition for that. Gnome druids. Doesn't make sense in lore at all, but who cares?
Who cares? They changed so much on the lore already. I mean, what does no druids have to do with that? I mean, it's just
Exactly.
minor change.
Yeah. Let's move on to this week's discussion point. And this week's discussion point is about one of the things that was talked about in one of the interviews. Let me see. It was Ian Hazekostas, or Ian rather, talking to PC Games N about raid currencies. Now, he said that there was going to be a good chance that raid currencies like Valor Points would be removed at the next expansion. Their original purpose was to counter bad luck in drops, so that you could then buy an item for a certain slot yourself if it still didn't drop after a few weeks. Now, the thing is with Mr. Pandaria, the bonus roll system got implemented and it's worked out pretty well for them. And they'd like to continue with that. One thing that they are looking at changing in the bonus roll system is, though, that it's going to be smarter so it doesn't give you the same item every single time, which would be quite nice.
Oh god.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
let's start off with just that. What do you guys think of Valor Points being possibly removed due to the bonus roll system being here as well? Warren?
Do you want to go first, LJ?
Yeah, you go for it. Yeah. I'll calm down before I talk about it.
Yeah, let's have Warren go first.
Well, with them removing that, it's just going to be, oh, what are they going to be implementing instead? Because with not being able to buy anything with your Valor, you'd be still aiming to want to get something in the week anyway, because with them having all of the honor points for the PvP and things like that, I was always changing when I was doing my PvP, so changing it into the honor, and so I could at least get into the heroics.
Yeah, but they're removing the whole currency now, aren't they?
For PvP and
We'll get to
PvE.
Justice in a minute, but
Yeah,
Valor seems to be like they're going to removing it completely.
All right, okay.
And
So
that's
no,
for raiding gear.
Right, no epic raid gear. Okay. God, that's a punch in the face.
Well, that's the thing, though. If they make the bonus roll system smarter, it is there to compensate for bad luck.
Yeah,
No,
it's there
but
to
I
compensate.
think. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Warren.
you say it's there to compensate for bad luck, but when it was doing the bonus rolls, I would go and get an item from a boss with just a normal roll, and
Hmm.
then with the bonus roll, I get a duplicate item, which was stupid. I'd be like, well, what the hell?
Yeah,
And I remember getting one.
that's
Oh
that's
yeah,
if when you get the item. I mean, then you have to be
yeah,
be lucky enough to get the item.
yeah. Unless you're waiting for ages for a ring to drop that never drops, maybe.
Yeah, a ring or a trinket or
Or a
important
weapon.
weapon also. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh God.
Though I
I
just
remember
got lucky with my hunter on looking for raid. I had the weapon drop in there, so that's good.
Yeah, I remember waiting ages and ages for an item that never dropped. I used a roll. I gone and got the thing that I didn't really want because I got it the week before, and I was just like, "Oh my God, facepalm! Why do you even do this to me, Blizzard?"
Yeah.
Well, that's what they're looking at changing, though. So with that being changed,
That's the benefit. I'd look forward to that one because it'd be like, "Oh yes, they're doing smarter things with the bonus
yeah. So
rolls."
is it fair to have two systems then? Should we still get Valor points as well and get epics via that?
I think the Valor's more or less supposed for those people that haven't got the ability to go into the raids or to do that. So
Well, then
with
they
them
don't
get,
deserve that loot. Put
well, they
in the
don't deserve.
effort or get out.
But you used to get the
Welcome to
Valor
Messi's
points.
world.
Yeah, you used to get the Valor points anyway from doing the heroic dungeon, so you get like the bonus plus 25.
Yeah, so now
So
you don't anymore. You just get the bonus item with the gear that's appropriate to that content. How is that wrong?
but are they doing the bonus roll for every single thing? So like heroics. So
Well,
there's
I don't
just
know. I assume that for heroic scenarios, for example, they'll keep dropping that bag where you have a chance to get an item similar to that item level. So
Okay.
they already have that there.
I
so,
just think that the whole the roll system is a bit, yeah, too much luck based, and there's already enough luck based in this game to keep a man crazy enough to keep playing this game. But if you're gonna continue that, if you're gonna remove like certainties like Valor gear, like Valor points and gear from that, it's gonna make it's going to make it harder for the people that I mean, if you spend a lot of time in the raids as such, you get gear from it. You can get gear from the valor points even when you're unlucky with the drops, which a lot of people haven't got. I mean, I have gone for weeks sometimes without one single loot drop for me. That was really useful. I mean, and something with the coins. I mean, I can get what they want to get with it, what they want with it, and I really look forward to them improving it. But as of now, I'm still very anxious about it because it's all luck based. It can be that you don't get a loot drop and then you use a coin for almost every boss and then might get something, or that you get finally draw like Warren said, you get something and then it's a double drop. I mean, I'm just not fond of luck based rules in loot and such. It makes it too. With valor points, you were certain if you got a number of points, you can get something that was really useful to you, even after weeks and weeks of raiding for not getting anything. That is removed basically, and then the business says, "Well, if you're unlucky, tough luck. You don't get anything."
yeah,
Even if you're the tank or the healer, I doesn't care which role you have. Even if you spend so much time doing your best and making it work and putting in just as much effort as the other guy, while the other guy gets 10 items, but you have none.
yeah. I think what the point of what Blizzard are trying to do is when you would save up your valor points, you'd buy an epic, and then on the first roll, you'd probably go and get something that goes and gets rid of the epic to start with that you just went and upgraded.
Yeah.
So it was. I think that's their way of trying to say, oh well, you were trying to get rid of that way, so you probably have better luck on the rolls. Because, not to say that it's a bad idea, but it's going to be different for
Well,
'em.
is it though? We didn't have any of the Valor gear in Siege of Orgrimmar.
No, because it wasn't the right item level for everyone. Because it was all
Exactly.
more or less a
So
starting level thing.
wouldn't it, from this situation in Orgrimmar right now, wouldn't it only be an improvement with the bonus roll system being more smart in the next expansion?
I would opt for going back. They're going back with everything to like Cataclysm. Why not go back with this as well? Make valor points actually give you loot and not base it on reputation factions that you have to grind like you had to do with this expansion. That's what they did wrong with this expansion. I think they made it bound to reputation. You had to get the reputation first before you could spend your valor points and your justice points. I mean that was whole wrong. I liked it more when in the Wrath of the Lich King and the Burning Crusade and such that you could actually buy gear from the points that you got. Why not
Yeah.
return if they're returning almost everything back to previous rating tiers? Why not that?
Because they feel that system wasn't as good.
Yeah,
as
but
what they
I
want.
feel that this coin system is worse. I mean, it like I said, it's all up to chance. I mean, we're not all Harvey Two-Face. That it's not about what's fair. It's not about luck. It's about what's fair. I mean,
Yeah, but
come on.
sure, the current bonus roll system completely based on luck. You could get the same. I've had the same thing 3 or 4 times when it's the other item that I needed. However, if they're going to update it so that it's going to be smarter and it's going to give you not the item that you already have.
Yeah, but didn't they already do that?
No, they didn't.
Okay. They wanted to implement it
Yes.
before, didn't you? But why?
They're going to do that in Warlords of Draenor.
Yeah, they were holding it back until then because they didn't see much point of changing something so drastic for something that's be changed or be updated in the next few months anyway. So I think it was more or less hold back and then implement it all at the same time. So then there's more things for everyone to see.
Well, I get, but it's still, it depends on how they change it, of course, because they say that now, we're gonna make it better and we're gonna make it nicer and more and smarter. I just want to wait and see because Blizzard has said that with a lot of things before, and then it went wrong or it didn't go quite as the players wanted. I mean, of course they can make it smarter. I'm not doubting that they can or cannot. It's just how are they gonna do it and based on what?
Well, I think with the new secondary stats, the multi-strike and the readiness and everything like that, I think with them having the extra bonus loot rolls, it gives a chance of getting the gear with the new secondary stats at a higher chance. So the better the secondary stat, the more you'd be wanting to say, oh yeah, well, it's giving me more readiness on this gear, or it's giving me more of a multi-strike option, so I might go for that one, I might change it up. So it more or less might be, you'll never know what the secondary or tertiary stat might be.
That's true. Because it is going to be random.
It's going to be totally random. So you could end up getting an item which you think, oh, that might not be bad, but then you look at the stats on it, they could end up being better and giving you the extra output that you'll probably need.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, okay.
Silence.
Silence is golden.
So yeah, moving on. Valor points were, as they weren't used for items this tier, they were instead used for upgrades. Should they vanish as well? Because they certainly contributed, at least in part, to the item inflation this expansion.
Say that again, sorry?
The item upgrades.
Yeah.
That's what we used Valor points for this expansion.
Yeah.
Or rather tier. Should that vanish, or do you want it to stay in some form? Because it certainly contributed to the item inflation, the item level stat inflation.
Thinking about the item squish and shit and stuff like that, I think they should remove it. I think that it doesn't inflict more harm than good at the moment by just giving that little bit of an upgrade. I mean, of course, if you do it on your whole gear, it's a lot, but it's still viewing with the item squish. I think that it's better to remove that as a whole.
Yeah, it'd be more detrimental because it'd be giving someone an unfair advantage of the extra increase to some of their stats that would, at the end, it would more or less just polarize it one way, so that one person would be further ahead if they did do it. So it'd be more detrimental, as LJ said. because it's more or less just then targeting it towards, oh, well, you've got to spend your valor points onto upgrading your gear, because at the end the gear matters. So it does more or less tar it with a black brush, as they'd have to get rid of it altogether.
Yeah.
In that sense.
You either do it
agree.
right, you do it good in the one way, or you don't half-ass it. Put it like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it would certainly help with the gear differences. Put people a bit more together, and as we said earlier, let your DPS or healing or tanking even depend more on skill than gear.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's true.
And then last thing for the podcast this week, Ian didn't say anything about justice points. Should justice points stay, as they counter bad luck while gearing up for raiding?
Well, the justice points are more or less just for the baseline heroic input level, aren't they? So you can just get into them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't think that they should be taken away, because it's what more or less gets people into saying, oh, well, we need the honor point or justice point items so that we can actually get into heroic dungeons, so we can get the gear to go into raids. So it's more or less just like the stepping stone. So justice points should stay, but with how they're looking at the valor points, I think the valor points should go, but justice points should stay as more or less like the stepping stone for the purchasing of the items you'll need to get into the
As a
heroic
tool.
dungeons.
Yeah, it's more exactly. Valor points and such have more. They're not just a stepping stone. They may improve your rating as a whole. But in order to get the rating, you need, of course, you need some stepping stones. And often, if you're unlucky with heroic gear, that it's a smaller stepping stone than valor gear. And I think they should keep at least Justin points just to help people out to get that little bit of extra gear, to let them get that item level to go into the raids, to in the dungeons. I mean, that you need nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that pretty much wraps up the podcast this week. Thanks for watching, first of all. If you enjoyed listening or watching the podcast, please comment, subscribe to the channel, let us know what you think in the comments, and click the like button. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/wowweekly or twitter.com/bbmezzi. And then finally, you can also just check out our website, wowweekly.net. We've been a lot better in updating it every few days and updating it as soon as new information comes out. And occasionally there is an editorial there as well, or other content such as Shoutcast. LJ and I shoutcast the last
Heroes of the Storm.
Heroes of the Storm match that came out.
Yep.
So
Awesome.
check that out as well if you haven't.
Yep. It was. Well, I have to say, it was a lot of fun to do it, and
Yeah.
we did it in one go. It already went well. So I mean, check it out. It's a lot of fun.
Exactly. Thank you, Warren, for joining us this week.
It's been good coming here. Yeah, it's been good.
Good to hear. LJ, yeah. See you
Yeah.
next week.
Yeah.
What do I say to you? Yeah. Thanks for your rants this week.
You're welcome. Glad to be there for the rants we need, huh?
Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for your
pretty
colourful
much.
language.
Yes. Be assured that LJ will be washing his mouth with soap after the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Reload pad at the ready.
Yeah.
Thanks,
So-
guys.
You're welcome, LJ.
I
You're
know.
So, once again, thanks for watching. I'm Mezzy, and we'll see you again next time.